Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of the of Share a Book, Share a Thought. Yeah, of Share a Book, Share a Thought. So this is the second episode, and I start to enjoy this thing, man. I think I start to enjoy, even though things are hard as I things. Okay, we know that every time when you start something, it's always hard to start something. But even though it is hard, sometimes I come across challenges. But I'm actually enjoying this, man. I'm actually falling in love with this, regardless of maybe the challenges that I come across. But uh, I think I'm starting to enjoy this. Really, yeah, I think I really enjoy this. So we are on this book. I did this book on the I was also on this book on the last episode. All right. So this book is why women don't why men don't listen and women can't read maps and women can't read maps. All right. So I was on episode one, not episode man. On episode one, on the previous episode, I was on chapter one, chapter two, and chapter three. So the reason why I did just three chapters for the first three chapters was because I did not want the episode to be long, maybe. I think it will end up boring. Like if you absorb too much information, I think it will end up boring. So I just did the first three chapter, and now I'll do the second three chapter, which is chapter 4, chapter 5, and chapter 6. All right. So chapter 4 is about talking and listening, and chapter 5 is about spatial ability. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is spatial ability. Then chapter 6, it is thoughts, attitudes, emotions, and other disaster areas. So yeah, so let's talk about chapter 4, about talking and listening. So this chapter, I think it is the most important chapter. I think since communication is regarded as the most important thing, maybe in the relationship, or not even in the relationship, but even in friendships, we need to communicate. We need to engage. All right. So I think, and for me to understand or to have a better communication with my partner or with women around me, I think one thing that I need to take into account is that I don't only communicate with them as I don't only communicate with them as their partner. For say, let me talk about my part. I don't communicate with them as my partner per se. I also communicate with them as a woman, or as a girl, or as a lady. So sometimes maybe we are not aware, or we don't know how women behave, or maybe sometimes we know how women behave, but we don't know why they behave the way they do, or why do they act the way they do, because of what. And the reason why we ask, it is because of maybe we do not, as guys, we do not act the way they do. Or if you are a woman, you don't behave the way men behave. So you tend to ask yourself, why do they behave the way they do? Or why does he or she do things this way that I prefer not to do them that way? All right. So I think we need to understand each other, like, why do they do this? Why do I do that? Another thing is to understand yourself, like, why do I behave this way? What influences me, or what uh, pushes me to behave this way? Or maybe to find me behaved that way that I behaved. So first thing we can agree on is that women are good at communication, then men are bad at communication. Or women are great talkers, and men are not great talkers actually, or they don't talk as often as girls do, or as often as women do. So this is because of, point number one is because of uh, Okay, let's start about the brain. All right, we both have uh, two parts of the brain. Have the left part of the brain and the right part of the brain. All right, so and these two parts are connected by a membrane, not a membrane actually. I don't know whether it's a nerve. Yeah, it's a nerve which is called corpus callosum. So this corpus callosum connects the two part of the brain, and the difference between men and women is that uh, this corpus callosum of women, it is thicker compared to of men. It is actually 30% thicker. So if and this corpus callosum offers connection between the left part of the brain and the right part of the brain. So if men have, let's say men have 100 connections between the left part of the brain and the right part of the brain, it means women will have 130 connections. So it is 30% more of the of the of the men. All right. So with women have areas, all right, areas located for speech in both part of the brain, in the left part of the brain and in the right part of the brain. They have speech areas, or they have areas located uh, on their brain that specifically those areas are for speech. All right, so they are both on the, or they are both located on the two hemispheres, or on both hemispheres of the brain. And let's not forget that the corpus callosum, it is thicker, so it means that they will have a great flow of information between the two part of the brain. So it means that for women, if they talk, it becomes easier for them because of what? Because of they use both part of their brains, and the connection between their brains, it is thick, or they have more connections between their parts of the brains. All right, they are parts of the brains. All right, so for men, that's not the case. For men, they have a thinner corpus callosum compared to women, and their brain, it is compartmentalized. This word is taken from compartment, so it means it operates in compartments. So with men, speech and language operates mainly in the left hemisphere of the brain, or the left part of the brain. All right, so meaning if they uh, or if men talk, or if men communicate, they only use their left part of the brain. All right, so you can see that men and women can't communicate the same. Women will tend to communicate more, or will tend to talk more compared to men, because of what? Because of the women use both their parts of the brain, or yeah, they are parts of the brain, and men use only the left part of the brain. And because of they have a compartmentalized brain, a compartmentalized brain, their brain works in compartment, meaning they are doing only one thing at a time. That's the reason why men can't multitask. They can't talk while they are busy doing something. If they are doing something and you ask them a question, they will tend to, or most of the time, they will tend to stop and answer you, or they will tend to not hear you. Maybe we can say they will not hear you because of what? Because of they are busy, or something like that. So they cannot do multiple things at a time, while women can do multiple things at a time. All right. So another thing is that women talk because of they need to talk. They talk more because of they need to talk. So women don't have a compartmentalized brain, all right? Or they don't have a monotracking brain, which means their brain does not only focus on specific thing alone, or at a time. So if they can't focus on one thing at a time, if they can't focus on one thing, or if their brain can't focus on one thing at a time, so it means that they cannot store let's say maybe they have problems or they have something to think about or something that stresses them. They don't have that thing of they can just take the problems and store it away from their concentration. Let's not forget they have a theta corpus callosum. So it means whatever that is in their mind, it will go around in their mind, around and around in their mind. Because of what? Because of the great flow of the information between the two parts of the hemisphere, from the left part of the brain to the right part of the brain, or vice versa. So if they have something that maybe stresses them, that thing will keep on moving around and around in their brain. Unlike men, when men talk, they talk only. They don't talk and think about something or deep think about something. So that is why men don't talk more often, or men don't talk when they have maybe problems. They tend to think. When is their time to think, they tend to think because of their brain works in compartments. When it's time to switch to thinking, they go to thinking. But women can think and talk at the same time. So that's why women tend to talk more, or tend to be good at communication because of, and it also to helps them to relieve whatever that is in their mind, to release whatever that is in their mind, to relieve, not release and relieve, maybe maybe, but to relieve what is in their mind. So, and because of this thing, because of women are good at communication, and it comes easily to them. It is not something that they find very difficult for them to do. So it means they will tend to love that thing. They will tend to love communicating because it comes effortlessly to them. Unlike to us, men, we don't talk more, or we get exhausted from talking maybe for some hours, but women can go hours and hours talking because of it comes effortlessly to them. Without effort, they just find themselves talking without even realizing that they're doing that thing. So they tend to love that thing. And another thing is women think aloud. When they think while talking. So that's why women talk more. Women talk more. So a woman's brain is pre-wired to use speech as a main form of expression. Whatever that he wants to express, he will use his mind, or not his mind, sorry. Her mind is wired, or is pre-wired to use speech to express whatever that he wants to express. If he wants to express emotions, he will express emotions by talking or by speaking. If he wants to express whatever that he wants to express, he will do that as not only as talking, but his brain is wired to use speech as a main form of expression. So because of they have a great flow of information, and speech comes easily to them, or talking comes easily to them, so they can also, they are able to talk about several subjects at the same time. They are able to talk about several subjects at the same time. Because of what? Because of their brain can focus on many things at the same time. Because of what? Because of that thick corpus callosum, or because of that uh, more connectivity that is offered by the thick corpus callosum between the two parts of the brain. All right, so there's this thing which is called the MRI, all right, which stands for magnetic resonance imaging. So this thing, it's a something like okay, this thing is used to measure magnetic electrical activity in the brain. So it is what they use to study the brain. Let's say maybe they want to know which part of your brain, or which part of the brain you use when you talk, or when you when you sleep, or which part of the brain is active when you sleep. So they will use the MRI. So for women, when a woman speak, this MRI scan, it is like X-ray scan. It shows scans, all right. So it shows that when a woman speak, both her left part of the brain and her right part of brain centers, the center of those, the centers of those of those the centers of those parts of the brain are both controlling speech, or are both controlling speech, or are operating when she's talking. And they also discover that even when she's speaking, her hearing functions also operate at the same time. So when they check, when a woman speaking, her hearing function, it's active, or it's operating, and her speech, it is also operating. So it means that women can listen and talk at the same time. At the same time, listen and talk at the same time. All right, listen and talk at the same time. But for many, it is a different story. They don't talk and operate. They don't talk and listen at the same time. Because of what? Because of their minds. It is a compartmentalized mind. It works. If we are talking, we are talking. If we are listening, we are listening. So maybe that's why we are considered as a gender who does not listen, or because of maybe women want us to listen the way they listen, or want us to have the ability of listening the way they do, because of when we speak, we only use the left part of the brain. Yeah, the left part of the brain, and our brain it is compartmentalized brain. So it means we can do one thing at a time. All right. So men uses so because of men don't or because of men uh, don't talk, or yeah, or maybe speech to them does not come effortlessly, so compared to women, they tend to use short sentences and clear, straight to the point. They tend to use straight to the point sentences, and short and clear. That's how a guy communicates. If a guy does not want something, most of the time he will just tell you, "I don't want this thing," and it is not because of it is rude, but it's just we believe. Okay, as guys, we believe if someone does not want something, he does not want something. And that's where the contrast become between women and men. We think if because of women use indirect, they like to talk, they use indirect indirect sentences. They will rather ask you a question. Let's say maybe they want something. They would not say, "I want this thing." They will rather uh, ask you question about that thing, or they want to engage on the topic of that thing before they can, or before they they can say they want that thing. So I think maybe that's why we clash as women and men. We tend to think that if I want this thing, I'll say I want this thing, or if I want your attention, I'll just say I want attention. But with women, it is different. And because of women can listen and talk at the same time, they tend to think maybe we are not uh, good with communicating, or we are not good at listening. And it is because of maybe it is not because of we don't want to listen, but it is because of we can't do those things at the same time. So I think if we understand each other, or if as a guy you understand your girl, uh, as a woman, not as your girl, as a woman, or you as a girl understand your guy as a man, or understand your husband or your boyfriend, or as a man, you will, I think we will, if we have to compromise, we will compromise. If you have to understand, you will understand. If you have to bear with that person, you will bear, because of now you understand why they do the things they do, or why they behave the way they do, which it is not the way we do, or why they prefer to do things in a certain way that we don't prefer to do them that way. All right. So most couples fail because boyfriends and or husbands are reluctant to talk. So they don't want to talk, because of we tend to avoid communication so much. Like, we tend to avoid it because of it is not something we enjoy. We don't enjoy talking, man. We don't enjoy. Most of us we don't enjoy talking. Some of us maybe we might enjoy talking. Like myself, I do like talking, but as a guy, I honestly don't. As a man, I honestly don't. But me personally, so I do enjoy talking, but I know most guys don't enjoy talking. So that's why maybe to they try so much to avoid having communication, or or talking. That's why they avoid talking. It is because of that thing does not come easily easily to them. So men avoid talking as a result of their poor communication skills, not because of they don't want to communicate, or not because of they are irresponsible, but it's because of they they avoid talking, or they avoid communication as a result of their poor communication skills. And women need to talk as they get to discharge what on their mind with what's on their mind with only talking, because that the process of talking, it is what women use to get off what is what is in their mind. Yeah. So what is in their mind? So yeah, men talk in short and direct message, while women multi-thread. They can talk about several subjects simultaneously. Because of what? Because of that great flow of information between the two brains, and specific brains locations located on of both sides of the brain. So yeah, I think if we understand each other, like, I think if I understand my girlfriend or my mother or my sister as a woman, and understand that she needs to talk. She needs to talk. Sometimes they talk not because of they want us to do something. They just want someone maybe to just listen. I think maybe if we understand that, I think we're gonna have great relationships, man. As long as if both parties are willing, I think we're gonna we're gonna have relationships. So that was the summary of part one. That not part one, man. Chapter 4, which is the first chapter on this episode. Okay, let's talk about spatial ability. All right. So spatial ability is being able to picture in the mind. Spatial ability is being able to picture in the mind the shape of things, their dimensions, coordinates, proportions, movement, and geography. It also involves being able to imagine an object being rotated in space, navigating around an obstacle course, and seeing things from a three-dimensional perspective. So that's spatial ability. So chapter 5, which is this one, which is the spatial ability, it is just talks about uh, what men do, or what men are good at, because of they have the special ability. All right. So if we look at the brain scans, all right, brain scans show that special ability is located mostly in the right brain for men and boys, and it is one of male's strongest ability. What this special ability? It is one of a male's strongest ability. All right. So in women, if we look at the brain, or if you look at the location in the brain, so it is located on both hemispheres, but it does not have a specific measurable location as it does in males. So means it is way low compared to males. In males, it is mostly on the right hemisphere, but in women it is on both hemispheres, but it does not have a specific measurable location as it does in males. So males have more special ability than females, or men have more special ability than female. So it is only 10% of women that have the same abilities, that are as dynamic, that have the same special abilities, that are as dynamic as those of the best men. It is only 10% of male all over the world, or yeah, all over the world. Only 10% of women that have special abilities that are as dynamic as men. So we can see that uh, most men, or if we talk about an average woman, he lacks special ability, or her special ability, it is poor. Yeah, we can say that it is very, very, very poor. So the special ability, which is one of the male's strongest ability, this special ability allows a man to rotate a map in his mind. When you talk about a map, allows a man to rotate a map in his mind and know which directions to go. So also this special ability also allow men to convert sound signal into three-dimensional mind maps to visualize correct directions and route to take, whereas women perform better at three-dimensional perspective map. So when we compare, or when we check the difference between men and and men and female, or men and women, all right, we when we look at the special ability, so there will be things that men are able to do, or that most men are able to do or excel in, compared to women, because of what? Because of the special ability that they have, all right, that they have. So if the special ability allows a man to rotate a map in his mind and know in which direction to go, so maybe that's why we have so many truck drivers as males. For one, that's why we have many truck drivers as males, or that's why we have most truck drivers as men, compared to women. Or maybe that's why most men don't get lost. So what I've realized, that most men, they just know when to, or where to turn. Let's say maybe if we have a road trip of going somewhere, and maybe they've been to that place maybe once or twice. But if we were to go to that place, and and the man was to direct us from here to that place, they have that thing, man. It is because of their special ability. They have that thing of of knowing where to go, of of knowing when to turn, or yeah, where to go. That's special ability. That's special ability. So most men don't get lost because of what? Because of this special ability, and it explains why. Uh, because of, we as men, we know that we have this thing that allows us to know where we go, or to know when to turn. It makes a sense why most men, when they get lost, they won't admit that they are lost, because of it is expected from them, or we think it is expected from us to know where to go. That's what we think, or that's what most men think. It is because of we think, okay, we I need to figure this thing out. I need to know, or I have that thing of you must know. Maybe that's why most of men who are lost, they don't easily acknowledge that, okay, I'm lost. You see, because of they are expected to know that thing. So that's why most, maybe that's why most women can't read maps, because of what they lack, the special ability. It is not as good as it is in males. And maybe that's why women don't often choose motor mechanics, uh, engineer don't choose engineers as field, as a career field, or pilots as career field. So because of pilots, with that motion and coordination and proportions, it challenges their spatial ability. It challenges their spatial ability. Even in mathematics, even in mathematics, in physics, uh, men tend to dominate, or tend to dominate in those fields. Because of what? Because of that thing requires a special ability, a spatial ability, and that's what they have. And even if you check the math teachers, science teachers, they have that thing. They have special or most teachers, most maths and physics teachers are male teachers. It's because of they have what? They have the special ability. So men and women, when coming to special ability, men will excel in activities that challenges his special ability, and women don't will not excel as much as men do, as men do. So if we know what challenges our special our our special uh, ability, if we know what challenges our special ability, we would not require uh, women to do that thing, or we will not expect women to excel in that thing. Like for example, it says it involves being able to imagine an object being rotated in space, navigating around an obstacle course, and seeing things. I want to talk about this one, and seeing things from a three-dimensional perspective. So it is believed that when a 2D map is given, uh, women can, not women, men can turn that 2D map in their mind into a 3D map. But women fail to do that. Women fail to turn a 3D map into a 3D in their mind, and they also fail to rotate that map in their mind without physically turning that map uh, upside down, or facing to the opposite direction. So that's what chapter 5 is all about. It's all about uh, comparing male and female based on their special ability, or since male have more special ability than female, it just talk about what things that men can do, or things that most men can do, and that uh, most women can't do. Because of what? Because of the special ability. So the special ability also allows men to convert sound signal into three-dimensional mind maps to visualize direction and route to take, whereas women perform better at three-dimensional perspective map. So when if we give a woman a 3D map, it will be easy for her to navigate her way. But if we give her a 2D map, it will be difficult, because of in reality is facing a 3D map, but on the paper or on the map, it is a 2D. So and he lacks that and she lacks that ability of turning that 2D map into 3D map in her mind. So it means that it will be difficult for her to navigate her way using a 2D map. But if it is a 3D map, uh, it will correspond with the reality, which is a 3D map. So it will be easy for her to navigate. So chapter 5 is all about that. Chapter 5 is all about the special ability, what men can do, or what men found it interesting because of their special ability. Their special ability. So it's just about that. So it's just about that. So I don't want to dwell too much on the special ability. So let's go to chapter 6. All right. So chapter 6 is about thoughts, attitude, emotions, and disasters. All right. So our first point we're going to look at, we have at perspectives. All right. So we have different perspectives as men and female, or as human beings, females and males have different perspectives. So women's awareness or females awareness is focused on communication, cooperation, harmony, love, sharing, and our relationship to one another. That's women's awareness. Then men's awareness is concerned with getting results, achieving goals, status, power, and beating the competition, and getting efficient to the bottom line. So that's what men's awareness is more concerned about. They are concerned about getting results, achieving goals, status, power, beating the competition, and getting efficient to the bottom line. So even if you check boys uh, how boys live with each other, they are about competing, they are about uh, status, they are about power. But with women, it is a different thing. It is a different thing. They are more focused on competition, on communication. They are more focused on cooperating, love, and sharing. Like for example, uh, a girl, let's say maybe there's a new girl at a new school, all right? By the end of that day, other girls will be knowing her name, or she will be having friends by the end of the day. Girls, girls' friends, yeah, or girlfriends. She will have girlfriends at the end of the day. But with boys, it is different. It can even take a month for that boy to 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 make friends. Because of what? Because of uh, as men, we are not concerned about about harmony, about communication. No, we are not. We are not concerned. Maybe some they might have compassionate and some sympathize with him and become friends. But most of them, they will not even recognize him. They will only recognize him if he's good at something. That's when he can recognize him. And boys can know that this boy is good at this one is good at this, without even knowing their name. But with females, friendships becomes easier with them. So also, men and female, we like male and female, we like different things. So females or girls love people. They love people. Girls are interested in peoples and in relationship. While boys, we love things and we are interested in how those things work. We love things and we are interested in how those things work. So a study showed that at 12 weeks, a baby girl, only at 12 weeks, she can successfully distinguish pictures of family from strangers. Like if you were to put different pictures here before a 12 weeks, yeah, 12 weeks girl, 12 weeks girl, she can point the pictures of family by just looking at the pictures only. She can distinguish them, but it is different from, it is a different story with boys. They cannot do that. 12 weeks, it is still early for them. So with girls, because of what, it is what comes easily to them. They love people, and they are interested in relationship. They're interested in people and in relationships, while boys interested in things and how they work. Like for example, if you were to take a a a, a doll and give it to a girl or a baby girl, he will turn that doll into her best friend. But if you give a toy to a boy, he he will even open that toy or dismember that toy, and to find or to try and find out what how it operates or how it works. So that's how boys are. They are curious about how things work. They are so curious about how things work. All right. So we even talk about different things. We even talk about different things. We even want different things. Women as teenagers, they talk about boys, weight, clothes, friends. So this is the when we say or when I say women, when I say women do this, women do that, I'm I'm referring to the average woman. Average women. So when we say women talk about boys, weight, clothes, friends, I'm talking about what average women will do. You might find that there are certain women who will not talk about that. But as an average, or an average woman will talk about that. So we're talking about the average. All right. So women as teenagers, they talk about boys, they talk about weight, they talk about clothes, they talk about friends. All right. So as adults, they talk about diet, diet. They talk about personal relationships. They talk about marriage. They talk about children. They talk about lovers' personalities. They talk about clothes, anything to do with people and personal issues. Anything to do with people and personal issues. Because of what? They are interested in people. They are interested in relationships. That's what they are interested in people and in relationships. So that's what they tend to talk about more. That's what they tend to talk about more. But with men, as boys, they talk about sports. They talk about mechanics and functions of things. It's because of they're interested in things, and they're interested in how they work, or how they function. All right. So boys, men or female as men, they talk about sport, about work, about news, technology, cars, and mechanical gadgets. It is it is how things they work, or it is mostly how things work, things and how they work. Then with the reason why they talk about sport, about news, about cars, it is because of uh, uh, they, 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 they tend to compete. Boys tend to compete, and girls tend to cooperate. They are good at cooperating, then boys, they are good at competing. That's why now uh, most guys will say, okay, I want to, my goal or my dream is to buy a certain car. My dream is to own a certain this and that. My dream is to what. It's all about competing, not necessarily competing. Okay, I cannot say competing per se, but because of when you love things and you see maybe someone close to you doing that thing, you wish to do that thing because of you're interested in things. So you tend to compete in a kind of in a kind of way. You tend to compete. So we also want different things, different things. So women value women value relationships. So they want everything that's in relationship. They want romance. they want love, they want all those things. Because of what? Because of they value relationships. And men value things and work. That's what they value. All right. So when we look at emotions, when we look at emotions, and when we look at emotions on the brain, so it is found that women's emotions are located throughout both hemispheres. All right, throughout both hemispheres. That's women's emotions, and they also operate at the same time as other brain functions. So meaning that if they were to do something besides emotions, emotions will also operate. If they were to talk, emotions they will also operate, or those locations of emotions in the brain, they will also become active while they talk. So uh, the activation of emotions, it is not uh, or does not rely on the disactivation of something else. So it operates at the same time as other brain functions. All right, but with men, emotions are located in two areas in the right hemisphere only, in the right hemisphere part of the brain, in the right hemisphere part of the brain only. So, and they don't, emotions operate separately from other functions with men, but with women operate at the same time as other brain functions. But with men operate separately from other brain functions. That's women. That's emotions with men. So uh, maybe that's why women tend to be uh, emotional beings. Maybe that's why, or because of it. Maybe it is because everything that they do, their emotions, it is operating as well. It is operating as well. Maybe that's why they end up uh, being seen or giving a picture of emotional beings. I can say that. Yeah, because of what? Because of their emotions operate at the same time as brain other brain functions. Yeah. So a man's brain is organized to evaluate and understand object, their relationship to other objects, spatial relevance, how it all works, and solutions to problem. His brain is programmed for a how to fix it response to life. His brain is programmed for how to fix it response to life. Men use fix it criterion in their approach to almost everything they do. They approach everything with that criterion of saying, I need to fix. Or maybe if they see anything that is wrong, they want to fix. That's how their brain is organized with me. But with female, it is not organized that way of fixing everything. But with men, it is organized that way. They their brain is organized. Their brain is programmed for a how to fix it response to life. All right. So maybe that's why most men, okay, maybe this is one of the reasons why they tend to compete. Because of uh, uh, if my goal is to fix, and other guy his goal is also to fix, we will tend to compete, like who fixes faster, or who fixes better, or who fix first. So that's why maybe that's one of the reason uh, they compete also. It is because of what they want to fix. And maybe it is also the reason uh, why when uh, when women vent on guys tend to offer tend to offer solution. Like maybe sometimes, not maybe, sometimes you might find that a girl just want to talk, just want a guy to to hear or to listen to her. So you'll find that guys will still offer solutions or will still offer advice. It is because of that's how their mind is programmed to fix. All they want to do, or when they see a problem, they want to fix. Even if they see that they cannot fix, there are certain problems that you cannot fix. But as a guy and his mind, he will still want to fix that thing because of that's how their mind it is. It is programmed. It is programmed. So let's look at why relationships fail. All right. So a man's biological age is to provide for a woman. All right. That's his biological age. And his appreciation and her appreciation of his efforts confirms his success. All right. That's man's biological age. And for female, she wants love, romance, and conversation. That's what a woman wants. So relationships tend to fail because of uh, men don't understand what women want. Because of what? It is not what they want. Then females or women don't understand what men want because of it is not what they want. Like for example, women wants love, wants romance, wants conversation, but it is not main priority to men. And men thinks that because of his biological age is to provide for women, he think that by providing his he's he's showing love. That's what he tends to think because of it is his biological age. It is to provide love. You might find that this guy is providing. This guy is always fixing things. This guy is doing everything in his power to make sure that maybe this girl is safe. This girl is protected, and everything that she wants, she gets. But you might still find that the very same girl does not feel loved or feel does not feel loved, man. Does not feel loved because of a man is trying to satisfy his edge of providing for a woman. And maybe sometimes he does provide, but the woman does not understand that okay, this is how he shows love to me. I'm not saying that's the only way that men can show love. I'm just saying most men, uh, the edge to provide, or their edge, or their biological edge, is to provide for a woman. So when he's providing and a woman uh, appreciates that, appreciates that, it confirms his success. It confirms his success. So yeah, it confirms his success because of uh, men are into things, are into achieving goals. So if he is appreciated for what he does, or if he's appreciated for what he's providing, it feels to him like I'm meeting the goals, or I'm I'm able to do what I have to do. Like like he's getting results, he's achieving goals. But with women, their main priority, they want love, they want romance, they want conversation. So sometimes you might find that a woman just want a conversation, just want a guy to talk with her, but the guy get that does not get that, or he will still ask, "What more do you want?" Because of, I bought food, I bought this, I bought this, I bought this, and the girl will say, "I want you to love me," but he will still not understand. Like, what do you mean? You want me to love you because I provide, because of I give you whatever that you need. I provide. What? So maybe that's why the relationships fails. It is because of we don't understand what other gender or what your partner uh, need or want, or how he or she uh, interpret love. Maybe I could say that. How men interpret love. So maybe that's why most relationship fails. We don't understand each other. You can still provide to a woman, still do almost everything for her, but she may still not feel loved. She may still not feel loved. She may still not feel loved. Or a or a you might show love as a lady, or as a woman. You might show love to 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 a woman. You might show love to a man, but he might not feel love because of what? Because of maybe you are not appreciating what he does, or maybe you are not actually uh, recognizing what he does, like appreciating his efforts. So to him, he might still feel like he's failing because of what? He cannot uh, uh, he does not have anything to confirm his success, because of he confirms his success with your what? With your appreciation. With your appreciation. So men don't frequently admit they are wrong because of what? They see that as being incompetent, because of uh, they have this mind of because of their brain is programmed for a how to fix it response to life, and they use fix it criterion in their approach. So if they admit that they are wrong, it's like they are saying you were not able to do, or I was not able to do something that uh, it is required of me to do, or something that I'm good at. I'm good at fixing things. So if I admit I'm wrong, it means that the very same thing that you are good at, you are not good at, or you are bad at it. So that's why most men don't admit they are wrong. Admit they are wrong. So men also hide emotions because they interpret being emotional as being out of control. Men like to be in control. So if they become emotional, or if they become uh, from time to time they become emotional, they interpret that as being out of control. So it means that they or maybe they 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 also interpret being emotional as weak. As weak. Like, okay, men believes that they have to provide, they have to protect women, because some might think that women, because they are not stronger compared to them, or they are weak. I don't know, I didn't want to use this word, but let me just use let me just use it. Women are weak. All right, so that's why men protect them. All right, so if men are emotional, they see themselves as weak. So that's why they can't be weak around men, or that's why they around women. That's why most men can't be emotional around men. Like with this thing of with this point of saying they don't admit they are wrong. Uh, they can admit they are wrong. They can admit they are wrong, but when their partners are not there. But immediately when their partner is around, they can never, or in most cases, they do not admit they are wrong, because that thing, it is seen as being incompetent. And with being emotional, it is seen as being out of control. While we know that men like loves or prefer to be in control. So men also hate advice. They hate advice because it is seen to them as not being able to figure things out on their own. They hate advice. That's what I was saying. because of their brain is programmed for a how to fix it response to life. So they fix, all they care about is to fix. They fix, they fix, they fix. So if you give me an advice, I'm like, why? Why? I don't need advice because of I can figure things out on my own. So that's why men hate advice. So also men always, in most cases, they offer solution because of what they have this problem solving mind. That's why they offer solutions. In most cases, they offer solutions. When a girl or when a woman wants to have a conversation, just a normal conversation, a guy or a man will always interpret the conversation by offering solutions because of what? Because of his mind of problem solving mind. And you might find that the woman does not need solutions at that time. You just want to talk, but uh, the man has this problem solving mind. So they are always offering solution. So another thing is that uh, women under stress they talk. All right, then men under stress they don't talk. And because of uh, women under stress they talk, when they see men not saying anything when they are stressed, they interpret it as something else, which is not. They interpret it as something else, which is not. So women talk under stress because of they receive comfort and relief from the process of talking. Okay, the problems in their minds goes around and around. All right, so they get to relieve that thing with speaking. But with men, because of they have a compartmentalized brain, they can store that thing, or they can just think, or focus on that thing without talking, without doing anything, because of they do one thing at a time. They can just focus on that thing, think and come up with solution without talking. So women, because when they are stressed they talk, and when they see men not talking when they are stressed, they interpret it as something else. They interpret it as something else. And in most cases it is not that thing that they interpret it as. In most cases it is not that thing that they interpret, that they interpret it as. It is, in most cases it is not that thing. So men don't talk because of they can do one thing at a time. One thing at a time. If they talk, they talk. If they think, they think. If they meditate, they meditate. They do one thing at a time. But with women, they can talk while thinking about whatever that happened or whatever that stressed them. That's how they are. So yeah, I guess this is the end of the episode. The end of episode. So I guess I'll see you on the next, or we will meet on the next episode. So same place, same time. I'm out this way. So yeah, away.